two or three women came out on Friday after coffee.
Okay.
Just before the deadline. So from 1990, you went until the deadline after a whole year. They came at the very end to file charges. Now, doesn't mean something that happened to you, like you say. Wrong is wrong, but when you wait till the very end,
exactly.
I look at you and like from 1990, and then now you wait until the very end, the last day, you had a whole year. And it's okay.
What's the motive?
There is that great area that we don't want to talk about.
Yeah,
so that's why we can't have this conversation.
And the best thing you say, which the best thing you say, which I was clapping, you say, you sit here, let's have a dialogue. Both of you are wrong. I'm not picking sides.
In that situation,
let's have a dialogue.
Both of them are wrong.
Yes. So
I'm just speaking about that situation.
Yes. So let's
both of them are wrong.
So let's have a dialogue now.
Yes.
You messed up.
Because she wasn't legally bound. She wasn't married. She could have walked away at any point. She could have said, oh, I don't need all this great lifestyle. I don't need this. I don't need that. She could have walked away. And until we know more details, as my sister said, we can't make decisions. But there is a trend here.
It's alleged.
There's a pattern here.
Allegedly.
There's a pattern here, and I just want us as humans to do better with each other so we actually see each other differently. Because this is not going to work. This is not going to work the way it's going. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Because that was the tradition. That was the culture.
Are you talking about the cancel culture now? What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the fact that if you guys grew up in the age I grew up with ball players and all these powerful men.
Okay.
You know, men had the money, you came around, you had your situation. It was almost a culture. It was a culture. And when you went into that club and you got that table and you went up to the elevator, it was a culture. And no one can negate that.
Push the button.
No one can negate that culture.
That's what he meant.
Now, if you're in the office and you go to your boss and you say, I need you to sign this deal, and he says, get naked. Now,
you have a
conversation.
You got a choice.
But 10 years with a very rich man that you're in the record label with, I'm so not saying Cassie's wrong or Puffy's right or the other way around. I'm saying let's have the conversation.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay.
That's what
Allegedly.
I will say
Allegedly.
Yes.
what Sister K Love just wrote down.
Thank you.
I almost can 100% absolutely agree.
It's not possible. Scott, agree with me?
Black Smoke Cigar Podcast. K Love and Scott
agreed.
They just agreed on something finally.
No, I think that not only was her points well balanced and passionate and
Allegedly.
and very very insightful from a higher level of actually analysis of the situation. I think also what I like most about what she said is that at the end of the whole conversation, does this just become entertainment, or do we as people and as a community grow from it? Now, she made an awesome point, because if there were crimes and there were wrongs, well, everybody got to deal with that. If Puffy, if these alleged, crimes and
allegedly,
if these become,
then it's wrong.
True, then he has to accept that.
Correct.
And she also makes an excellent point that there's a vast difference between a woman or a man or anybody who is subjugated to this against their choice, but someone who makes the calculated choice and says, I'm willing to do these things
I have a choice to
have an avenue to my success.
Thank you.
And then after things go a certain way, you now want to complain about it. I think that becomes a moral thing that we have to analyze as people, because as we've all been taught there's consequences for your choices.
Thank you.
You know, now,
Thank you.
the sad thing about immoral choices, you may make an immoral choice, but there's no legal repercussion for it. But there's spiritual, there's emotional, there's physical, there's all other kind of catastrophic things. We constantly see our community making bad decisions that jeopardize our families, our children, our lives, but there's no legal legal pushback on it, but it destroys our lives. So this woman was willing to put herself in a compromised situation.
That's the choice she made.
So my feeling is that Puffy, who I personally believe has done great things with his music and has helped our community, you know, and people become empowered and become millionaires. He's also been the vehicle of a lot of very sinister things.
Allegedly.
And some of these things are not, you know, there's a reason behind so many people who have had relationships with them that have a unfortunate demise.
Right.
And that's because I believe in his ecosystem there is both the temptation of obvious gain, but the temptation of a satanic outcome. An outcome that will lead you to degradation, self-exploitation, destruction. Because you compromise. It's no different than when you make a deal with the devil. Yeah, you got that money, but you sold all of your soul. And yeah, you're a millionaire now, but you killed off half your community's people through the drug distribution and the destructive lives that they now live.
Making millions.
So I think to complement what she's saying, because there's really nothing that I can add to it. All I can say is not a but I can say an end. So my end would be, along with everything that both sisters said, which first sister, your name again? Nina. Very eloquent. I love the fact that even though she recognizes that there is some wrong alleged, and there's some things that we kind of as a community know, we're still not going to give up on our people.
Right.
We're still going to recognize the good that they did, and it's up to them now to say, you know what? I've lived lovely off of these things, but I've also destroyed. And that's Puffy's. That's R. Kelly. That to some degree is Bill Cosby's decision to decide that. But that doesn't mean we stop loving and supporting each other, because we come out of situations, and sometimes the situation that we used to get out of the situation was not right. But that's the American story. When they came over here and destroyed the Native American, when they went to our motherland and destroyed our people, sometimes we aided and abetted that service. It still left a terrible mark on our history, but we also have to take accountability for the fact that some of us were aiding in that destruction. And that's the only way that we'll grow. Those who caused the destruction have to recognize their wrong,
accept responsibility,
and accept their punishment. Yep. But those of us who say, you know what, I'm going to open my legs, I'm going to accept this particular...
It's part of the healing process.
It's all part of the game.
Accepting your part.
And until we all recognize, like Sister said, at the end, we have to all as a community grow and make better choices.
Yeah, true.
Well said.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Well, I just want to say, I did look at what happened, and she sued him, well, her lawyer sued the company. She sued him as an employee.
This one move.
Yeah, and which immediately triggered the insurance to get involved. And she maximized that $30 million turnaround time
and there's no NDA.
Right, no NDA. And that $30 million turnaround time, which forced him to have to step down from Revolt. Because I personally think he would have fought at a certain stance, but her strategy was to attack him as not a person, but as a company, and her being an employee.
Correct.
Which has a whole nother dynamic, ethical laws.
Yes. So Revolt is now, losing revenue. As we see daily, 50 Cent is kind of wanting to take over, so which is sad. Seeing another black man kind of highlight the faults of another black man. Yep. But I can't say anything else on that subject, and I appreciate the feedback.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
All I can say is this.
good, brother.
Your hand.